We have had a very heavy week on Son of Nimrod, and today we are reviewing Kizer issue 48. I didn't know why I got this out. One thing that I want to say is that both parts of this story have had pretty unexceptional covers. This one, there's nothing truly wrong with this one beyond 90s 4's Ed being straight on. That always just looks odd. After Greg Batman, no actually, after Steve Lightbulb, the covers of this series generally are not very good, and then the book is cancelled. I can't think of a single cover starting with issue 41 through to issue 60, the last one, that are good. There is some okay cover ideas, but the art is usually lacking or not very good. I purposely turned the page there because here is a splash page that doesn't work for me. We ended last issue with an alright, maybe even decent one, of Kizer reunited with his magic bracelets. And this one gans for an eye angle on that. It's like this is the magic bracelets. It's like their point of view. It just doesn't come together well. Kizer is bottom off, looks like an action figure that has been posed really badly or is about to break. Also, the neck of his costume is miscoloured. I wish this was the worst of the art, but here is a double spread that I consider really terrible. The weird thing is that the individual parts of it work. It just doesn't look good altogether. Like, Kizer, that is a pretty decent profile shot of him, but then it is inserted into this big needless double page image. Everything looks wrong together. It's like they were all drawn apart and then put together in a collage, so nothing is really the focus. But yeah, Kizer and 90s 4, they have come into conflict with the pensioners of the universe. I called them the OAPs of the universe last video, and I realised afterwards that America will not know that that is an acronym for old age pensioners. The only two of them of note here are Camo Vaughn, the Possessor, and the smaller baby in a nappy, who on the very next page is revealed to be a scroll. And so the only intriguing character stuff with him is quickly dumped, and it was never him to begin with. Something else is that the colouring in this issue is bollocks. It is either far too dark in places, like on this page, or it is sickeningly bright on others. It is like every colour is the correct pigment, but the most wrong shade it could be. Like, Kizer's cape is blue, and now it is this powder blue. The characters are all very, very dark skin tone, bordering on orange. And then we have a lot of panels where 90s 4 is flat out a Redheads. The more I have thought on it, If it wasn't the case that the rest of the issue had horrible colouring, I would believe that this page here was a printer error, because all the yellows are red. Except the telltale sign for me, we have this quick panel here of 90s 4's eyes, and both his skin and eyes are also red, but they are the correct shade in the other panels. And he has red hair on some of the other pages too. And all this is without talking about how badly 90s 4 is drawn in that main panel. We have got some subplots like Kizer's girlfriend, she goes skinny dipping with her friend. This is all set up for the Starburst crossover, and you will be disappointed to know that there is no skinny dipping in Starburst. The Possessor has done what his name entails, and he has possessed 90s 4 to fight Kizer. And down here, Kizer, he mentions how they fought once before when Kizer was mind controlled by Amanda the Enchanter. And that put a smile on me face, because Amanda the Enchanter and Continuity are a very attractive duo. Some more dubious colouring on this page. I will give the colourist this credit. He successfully draws your attention away from some of the weaker artwork in the book. The Possessor, he wants Kizer's magic bracelets for himself, which is the motivation of 70% of the bad guys in this series. And so now he has possessed Kizer and is trying to make him overload himself with cosmic energy so that he implodes. Marky Mark seems to have forgotten that earlier in the series he established that the Quasar bands, the magic bracelets, they protected Kizer from outside mental influence. And what makes that worse is that he footnoted that 4th story with Amanda the Enchanter, where that was a plot point. And like a lot of the less than good Kizer stories from this period, it boils down to being the magic tattoo that saves the day. This series' direction, with it focusing heavily on the magic tattoo, this was because much of the actual Marvel cosmic stuff was off limits. This book became a bit pointless because Jim Starman had priority on most the cosmic mythology of Marvel, so we have to focus on the magic tattoo and other parts of the Marvel universe that are away from Jim Starman's stuff. And for the second issue in a row, Kizer is responsible for disintegrating someone's arm. That properly doesn't jibe with the book's tone or the character. More Starburst stuff. We have got the baddies for the crossover making their debut here. And it is a bit revelatory. Over a few issues, you can see everything going wrong with the upcoming Starburst crossover. At this point, it has been sold as a Fantastic Force Kizer crossover, which it is not. This isn't very good, and I think the art department is a big reason for that. I didn't think that the artist is the worst ever. I think he can do good profile shots. He would be perfect as, like, the resident artist on the Andy books. And this is his first regular work. But he's just a really bad match for a book that has all these big cosmic muckety mucks having trippy energy fights. There is always the problem that he is not Greg Batman, but he is also not Ryan Paul or Manfred Manley or even the fill-in artists Dave Edgar Hoover and whatever I call Pat Broderick. I think all of them could have made this a more enjoyable story to read. Marky Mark is a writer who I think needs a good artist to really bring extra life to his writing. It is not a coincidence that most of the stuff people say are bad Marky Mark stories are the ones where he is with a mediocre or bad artist. Unfortunately, Kazar's series isn't going to have one of them again, and Starburst is going to have some of the worst art of the 90s from Herb Trimpfeld. I will end this video by saying 7 thumbs up.